Hello, tech enthusiasts, and welcome to the very first episode of our podcast, Fing Talks. I'm Nadia, your co-host, ready to spill all the latest digital gossip with a side of fun.
And I'm Dalia, your other co-host, and I'm equally excited to be here. We want you to think of this podcast as your digital detox of any tech jargon that you have that's very complicated. We're here to chat about everything. I mean, from smart homes to AI, cybersecurity, and also those bizarre innovations that just pop out at any time in the tech world. Of course, don't worry, this is not going to be a podcast, full of boring lectures. We're actually going to have some very casual conversations. We're going to have some fun and laugh, and hopefully, we're also going to have some very cool insights.
Yeah, that's what we're actually want to do. I mean, we decided to start this podcast because, let's be honest, the tech world moves at a warp speed, and it can be hard to actually keep up, especially for us. We're the social media girls of Fing, but at the same time, we work in a tech company, so we live and breathe network tech every day. So that's why we thought it'd be interesting actually to break down complex topics into digestible and relatable conversations. We'll be bringing new episodes every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, you can always stay in the loop. Make sure to subscribe and follow us here on YouTube. But before we kick off, our Fing Talks jingle.
Fing Talk. Oh, Fing Talks. Yeah, clap it up. Nadia and Dolly Tech Talk that rocks.
And to kick off with our very first episode, of course, we couldn't think of a better person to have as our very first guest. He's not just an expert of the IT world, he's a true visionary, and he actually came up with a very good idea that changed how millions of people actually manage their digital life. And casually, he's also our boss.
That's right. We're absolutely thrilled to welcome to the show the one and only Marco De Angelis, VP and co-founder of Fing. Marco, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
We're so happy. So, welcome again. But before we dive into the core of this first episode, we have a little tradition of a question that we're going to ask all of our guests. So the question is, if you were to be an animal, which animal would you be and why?
Okay, I would think I would be a whale. No, something it's not at a, let's say, it's placid, it can seem like calm, but you don't underestimate, you don't get too close, can be dangerous.
Fair enough.
So
Lovely
to see, but let's say, approach with care.
That's very interesting.
I love that.
Unexpected.
We actually, when we came up with this question, we had a bet and we thought that you would choose an owl, considering that Fing, kind of goes into everyone's network and scans the devices in the network. We thought that you would be but actually I love the whale. I think it's also very fitting. But let's talk about the big idea, right? So Fing, tell us a little bit about how it came up and why. Did you have it? Did you have a dream to always build a network scanning empire, or was this just something that came in your garage? What's the story with it?
Well, it was very serendipitous, and it was very typical, like a garage style event, and we were not chasing a big idea, but being very engineering in mindset. We just wanted to tinker with some technology, and Carlo and I and Daniele, we were the original group, and we actually thought that starting from Carlo's thesis about a scanner that he did in the past was very interesting to redo at a time in which mobile devices were exploding in popularity. And we just thought, okay, let's try to see, we wanted to learn a little bit about that. So we thought, would that work? Would it be possible to find something? And we didn't even know that we actually invented great things like, let's not ask somebody as a very first step, okay, what's your IP address range? We just scare the people away. Why posing this kind of complex questions when you can skip most of that and people just want to see a list of items? And we were just exploring the ideas, and without even knowing, we actually got a working app. And a few months later, we said, let's maybe try the iOS version and see can it be done there as well. And before we knew it, we actually had a couple of apps, and maybe it was because we were the first there, and maybe it was because we actually simplified the solution just enough so that it would be useful but easy to approach. And we will discover that it will still be on the top of the list for these utility apps. We didn't even know what to do with that for a very long time, but we actually saw the number of users growing, the interest growing around that, and in the end that became a full startup and started growing from there. But initially, no big dream, and we didn't have a sense of urgency of any kind. We didn't even think that we were actually solving people's problem until they started saying, hey, this has helped me in this and this way, catching people who shouldn't be in the network. And so
to quote Drake, started from the bottom, literally, and now we're here.
Exactly. So now that we know this overview of how you started this empire, let's take a step back. So before Fing, what were you doing? Like, what brought you to create an empire that started from the bottom and take it to the top?
The return of the empire.
Well, now that you said it, it looks like a long time ago, and I don't know, maybe because it's now a Fing of year, like it's equivalent of 7 regular years with the amount of things that we try to do. But I was a chief software architect at a larger corporation, and we were dealing with telecom networking, which means dealing with, let's say, very large customers who tend to have billions of transactions per day. So the solutions we were building up together with Carlo and Daniele, the founders, were of larger systems. So for us, it was also diverging from our original kind of work, and gave us the ability to play with mobile, smartphones, and a consumer area, which was definitely absolutely not our area of expertise or of interest at that time. But I think that was great. I mean, knowing that you can actually turn from a very typical SaaS activity into something that was very consumer-oriented was, I think, maybe the biggest part of the fun.
That's cool. But actually, so we are the social media girls of Fing, right? So we don't have a very IT or tech background. So, why would it be, in your opinion, why is it, in your opinion, so crucial for the average person to know what's going on with their network? Like, if you would have to explain it to us, why is monitoring the network an important part of your digital lifestyle and also of your digital hygiene, I'd say?
Well, that's a very good question, and I think that what we're not realizing very often is we have electricity, we have plumbing at our house. Let me put it this way: these are utilities that we give for granted and we use regularly, but this is something that normally you don't build up yourself. Every time you have a problem, most of the people call a professional to deal with that. And with networking, now that as a utility, it's really a new utility of this century, because your entertainment goes through it, your remote working goes through it, your smart home goes through it, and now you have your entire system tied to that. And despite this, you usually don't call a professional to set it up. You plug everything on your own, which is great. It's a great democratization of your ability and a testament to the fact that standard protocols allows everybody to plug that in. But that means also that a very crucial utility is not built up with maybe the proper rationale. And if I say, Nadia, if you find an exposed power cable, would you think that would be a threat at your home? You would think that definitely. But if I ask you, okay, if you're using that kind of protocol for your wireless network, would you be able to immediately understand?
No, I would have to go. I would have to go on the internet and see what a protocol is.
And you don't have that kind of perception. You don't know that this actually can be as dangerous as exposing a wire, because it would lead to malfunctions, could lead to loss of data, could be to intrusions. So many of the aspects that today govern our daily life are based on the connectivity in the home, the digital connected home, and we don't know on a general terms what are the, let's say, the good foundations for that. And what we hope we are doing is also helping you figure out in a clear way, an approachable way, look, this might not be okay.
Well, if I'd have a problem at my house, I'd probably call my dad, crying because I don't know how to solve things.
Yeah, that goes for me too.
Exactly. But as I think we all know, when we have to start like a business or like a startup, you always have like satisfactions or disappointments.
Or challenges.
So the question is, what is your biggest satisfaction? And what is the biggest disappointment and challenge that you had to face?
All right. Well, biggest satisfaction. I mean, nothing beats when somebody actually tells you, "Oh, I used the app and it's great." And I do recall 1 year we were at the CES in Las Vegas, and we had, the swag. We had the Fing T-shirts. And people actually stopped as we were walking. Hey, you are the guys from doing Fing. I use the app. This is so cool. This is so cool because you actually realize you actually have, you make a difference in small and bigger occasions. And when the users actually write you and tell you, look, the most bizarre stories that you wouldn't even dream of, like, oh, this has helped me figure out the exact time when a burglar actually took something away, and because the agent told me it was disconnected, or when somebody figured out that the son actually took the remotely connected car in the middle of the night because I got a notification from there. So these little things actually are the ones that I personally crave for, because these are scenarios I wouldn't imagine. That's it. Definitely not the area that one envisions. Mm-hmm. But then in the end you figure out that these are all tied to the same core problem, knowing what's online and whether it should not be online. I recall we are now very popular for also being able to spot hidden cameras, but that was far from our original idea of a way to be used. So that when our users, our customers figure out new ways to use the application, that's what gives us the thrill.
It's rewarding.
That's very much true. It's kind of like when you write a song and you perform it and people are actually singing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you come up with an idea and someone actually uses it or enjoys it, it makes a big difference. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, it's really rewarding to be appreciated, and also working here, actually, whenever we encounter these use cases that were unimaginable, it's funny, but it also gives us the inspiration to actually say, okay, so maybe we can work on this feature, or we can integrate this, because users actually came up with that kind of utilization and we didn't think about it.
And I think this connects also to the second part of the question. I couldn't say if it's a disappointment or still a challenge, but we do know that in our large pool of users, there's a lot of expertise. There's a lot of people who have really deep technical knowledge, and we would like to find ways to that, to be a community, to be able to contribute that, so that it could be more accessible, and we still haven't baked that into the product, and that is, say, one of the challenges. We can provide tools that help you, but there are limitations to the tools, and sometimes the sheer knowledge of people that uses the product, it's something that we would like to be able to make more accessible overall.
So, I mean, on this kind of length of wave, if you think about, if we kind of zoom out and we think about in general, the technology industry and what's going on, what kind of trends are popping out. We actually said earlier in the episode that the tech industry, it always moves at a warp speed. Like, it's difficult to actually keep up with it. So my question would be, what is one trend that you're excited about and you actually think could make a huge difference for people and could actually also be applied to Fing? And on the other hand, what is one trend that you think is actually a menace, a threat that can, kind of doesn't let you sleep at night, maybe?
Okay. Well, I don't know if I will be, let's say, sleepless in Seattle about that, but overall, let's say there's one thing that AI does, is that it democratizes, it gives access to a larger group of people to tools and ideas that were more secluded. You needed some level of expertise, and which is great. It's great that without some level of expertise, you could actually create videos, you can actually create new content. And it's not new that the same happened when Photoshop came out, and they actually gave people tools that were just for a very small niche. So it's not something unprecedented. But with that kind of tools, of course, can be used for good intent or for ill intents. And that means if I could imagine one niche that is very, very clear and to depict, is, of course, the hackers. They are the epitome of somebody who's very extremely expert and also to some degree rare. And AI is democratizing a lot of items. So one of the things, one of the trends that, let's say, worries me is that part of this democratization is also giving the tools to break whatever they should not try to break in. And it's going to be more and more popular, easier and easier to ask and find ways to use that and or circumvent. That's why within the AI they're baking in some of the limitations, but still there will be ways to gather this kind of level of details on ask how to perform some hacking activities in your network so that you wouldn't be otherwise be able to think of. And that is, let's say, a threat. And we just need to be faster in democratizing your awareness of what are the threats.
Definitely. I think we're gonna have maybe an episode about AI in general, and just kind of to tackle all of these issues, because it's not only, I think AI in general it's a great tool. I'm really curious to see in which direction it will go, but at the same time, you have so many issues with generative AI, with copyright, with ethical hacking or non-ethical hacking. So I totally agree that it's a great tool that it can be both used for, with good intention or with bad intentions. So we have a little game prepared for you, but before that, I wanted to ask just the last question. If you could go back in time, if you could go back in time to the very beginning of Fing, with everything that you know today, both as as a professional and as an IT professional and as a business owner and founder, what piece of advice would you give yourself?
Well, before that, would I listen to that advice? That would be a great question, because of course, until you figure that out on your own, then any kind of advice seems logical, and you can get as many as you want, but I think at some point you will have to feel it to understand what's the value. But when Fing, we tried many different angles, and I think one piece of advice would be structured about what you do, because there's the fallacy of the fields of dream, that they think that if you will build it, people will come, they will start using it, and sometimes it's great if you're really convinced of something, you should not listen to anything else and try it. But if that conviction changes too rapidly, and that means you're just trying to unstructurally try to figure something out. And my suggestion would be very specific when you want to experiment. So that means having your KPI straight in first, then build the list of what you want to try out, because you can survey all you want, but that is not going to tell you really whatever is going to need it, what people want. And then try things out in a very methodic way. Don't just try things out. You can waste tons of resources and build something that in the end will stick, and you will have to find ways to support it and keep on supporting it for years. And instead, label something as experiment for the right amount of time. And then if it doesn't work, shelve it and say, okay, I need more analysis on that, and move to the next one. But don't build large dreams just on that. And also, if your dreams change every month, there is not a good sign.
So for any wannabe entrepreneurs, or for any entrepreneurs venturing themselves into the tech business, we hope you took notes.
Find also good social media girls.
Exactly. Find also very good social media girls.
Absolutely.
All right, so do you want to go with the game?
Yeah, let's start with the game. So we have a list of top 5 devices. These are not in order though, so you'll have to put them in order yourself. And then we're going to tell you if they're right or not. Also by telling you eventually like the numbers and how much they actually are going. But I mean, you're the boss, so technically you should know this stuff.
So these are like the top 5 categories in our Fing catalog. So
Exactly.
we have, a bunch of devices thanks to our users that use Fing. So in your opinion, you can put it down and kind of like mix and match if you want, and just go with the top 5, and then we'll unveil the result.
Okay, so maybe I will think out loud.
Yeah.
So, well, let's go for, let's say the bottom one. I think it's gonna be the desktop. Mostly because, let's say, my rationale here is that that there's a blurred line in figuring out when a device is actually a laptop, falls in the laptop category, and a desktop. And the desktops are, let's say, I think would be a wider category. And tablets, as much as we love to think that are very, very popular, I think overall they should be less popular than smartphones and mobile devices. So I would put it somewhere, don't know exactly in between, but let's put it something in between. And Wi-Fi, well, that's a difficult one. Let's say I want to put mobile smartphones on top. The sheer amount that there is available online, and the fact that we tend to change them more rapidly than socks, then I think is should drive. At least that's the rationale. That I'd be wrong. And so I would put Wi-Fi as a second one, and laptop in the fourth position. And now I may be completely wrong.
Let's see the truth.
Let's see the truth. All right, so mobile, you're correct. It's top one with an astonishing...
I'm sorry, this is very dense.
So we got mobile at number one. That's correct. Our catalog counts over 320 million mobile devices scanned. So number two is actually laptops. So you put Wi-Fi, which is number three, so we kind of mixed them. So laptops, we got over 80,439,000 laptops, while with Wi-Fi routers, we're about over 48 million. And then we have tablets and desktops as the bottom two, with somewhere over 35 million for tablets and then almost 29 million desktop devices in our catalog. But still, you got the first and the last. You got the first and the last. So you know your Fing data pretty well. Marco, thank you so much for taking the time and being our ever first guest on our Fing Talks. Yeah. Your insights into Fing's origins and in general the business, as well as all of the tips that you gave us, were very, very inspiring. So we're super happy to actually kick off this episode with you. But before we let you go, one last question. What are the next big steps for Fing? What does the roadmap look for the next 3 years?
3 years, that's a lot. 3 years, it's a lot. That's a lot. Let's say the short-term vision is, as most of our users already realized, we are revamping a lot. We are trying to close the circle with whatever we put in place, as I mentioned, trying many things throughout the years and then just eventually figuring out what is, let's say, the right formula. And so as user has seen, we've completely revamped the web app, and the short-term roadmap is to use that and make it the UI for the desktop application, which is very popular, and I think will benefit a lot from the revamp of the UI. It's not only well thought out, but it's it supports the dark mode. It supports the peaking of any kind of network. So I think people will love it, and that's the short-term goal. We want to look at, let's say, towards the horizon at a larger distance. I think that we're building, now that we enabled tools for professional users, we are starting getting an incredible initial growth of professional users getting in. We already knew that they were there, but I think we are giving them the right tools now. And let's say the midterm possibility is for them to connect and share. And if you want to look at 3-5 years, as the vision is, of course, to say, hey, we are a platform where we do have professionals and we're giving them the tools. And we have the platform where there's a lot of people who are not professionals that are in need of that. So why don't... Hand raise. So why cannot be that we put them in connection? So why cannot we be, say, the Uber of network support, so that there is a clear demand, there are the tools, and there are the professionals, and the platform is just there to connect, because without the professional users will be no real knowledge in there.
Yeah.
So this is where the real value is of now coming from the people who has a deep technical knowledge. And despite what everybody might think, there's a great willingness to help people out. So just building in the tools the possibility to help somebody else, I think would be great, because I think we have all the ingredients there, but we have to get there step by step. And we've taken the first steps. It will take some time. It's going to be a very long stroll, but I'm sure we will get there.
Like Italians say, chi va piano, va tardi, va lontano.
Exactly. You can translate that on your own time. Thank you so much, Marco, for coming in. It's been super interesting.
Yes.
And hope to see you soon again on our podcast. And
You had fun, you did.
You had fun.
I absolutely totally had fun, I have to say.
Thank you so much, Marco.
Thank you.
That was so interesting.
I know.
I mean, I really love to hear how like his journey started and how it's still going, because you never expect anything like that. I mean, it's so inspiring. But I have a question for you. I mean, do you ever have like this idea, this passion that you would like to turn into a business and it would become something huge?
All right, so to be honest, actually, I've been thinking about this lately. I've got a cat recently, so it actually sparked some ideas in my mind.
Okay.
And so I thought, it could be smart to have a pet feeder that would also dispense belly rubs.
What?
Wait, hear me out. Like belly rubs based on AI-powered purr detection. Like, I think my cat and any cat would just love it. My bank account, probably not so much. But anyways, I mean, but it does make you think, right? Like, what problems are out there that you can solve by simply sitting down and kind of like having these conversations and starting to think about it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Also because the world is full of invisible puzzles. So it's nice to have like some ideas that could actually solve all these dilemmas.
Exactly.
But this is the end of our very first episode. We hope you loved it. And yeah, stay tuned for Fing Talks. I mean,
Do we have the date for the next episode?
We do not have an exact date.
But you know what? You can just hit that subscribe button, enable the notifications, and smack the bell icon wherever you're listening. So you'll be the first one to know when the next episode is out. And we'll be back in a couple of weeks with more tech talk, tea, and maybe another game.
Yes. Ciao for now, and remember, always keep an eye on your network.